A very good evening, East Africa. Welcome to yet a brand new and also exciting week. Of course, you know it, the desk now more than ever. I'm yours truly, Shadrack Kisame. Now, trust me, tonight is going to be a very exciting one because the man in the chair, I tell you, we're going to be discussing some of the effects post-COVID, what's happening, and most definitely the students. Now, we're going to be analyzing the education sector in general, all the stakeholders. Now, with stakeholders, I mean the teachers, school owners, the students, and the parents. We want to find out, has this left them the same? Is the mood still at 100%? Are we just building the mood? Are the students ready for school again? All this in tonight's episode. Now remember, you are on U24 television, and we trust that every time you watch U24, you are inspired, you're motivated, but above all, you are educated. Now we have made it our mandate that every time you watch the desk, your intellect goes high because it is the continent's leading intellectual platform, actually the highest platform for solution finding. You better sit back, relax, because we are broadcasting here at our home, Nile Avenue at Nakasero Hill. I'm talking UBC headquarters, but you are on U24 television. Now the man in the chair tonight is none other than Mr. Sharif. He is a junior head teacher in a primary school along Entebbe Road. And I'm telling you, this man is very passionate about education, and he's feeling not contented. So tonight with him, we brainstorm about some of these effects post-COVID. Welcome to the show, Sharif. Good to see you, man.
Good to have you.
Yes.
Thank you for the host.
Yeah, so Sharif, maybe you want to introduce yourself to the people who are watching you, and then we dive deep into this discussion.
By the name, I'm Hanguzi Sharif, a student, still a stakeholder in the education department. I've worked very many places in the schools, of course, and currently I'm a head teacher, as he has said. And since we are the people who are handling the education side, I think there must be things that we must communicate to the nation.
Right. So I want us to dive deep primarily with the students now. Are the students ready? What are we, if they are not, what are we doing to make them ready to fit in school? Are they fitting in properly?
So on the question on if the students are ready, because currently we are having students who had become entrepreneurs in their own respects. Some, however, primary, secondary, they had started their own businesses. And look at bringing a businessman back to school. He is studying to get money. You have brought him to get money. But during the COVID lockdown, he has started his or her business. And it has been starting to bring out
some
gains.
little cash.
And then we are bringing him back to school, which is a challenge. And our orientation to education has been coupled with you study and get money. But they have not exploited the other areas where you come to school maybe to be polished or to fit in the society.
Value addition.
I think in our curriculum we need to address that, that you don't come to school to get money, but you are coming to school to develop yourself or maybe to fit in the society.
Sharif, so you make an important point right there. Are you trying to mean that we need now to redefine, or like you said, the orientation of our curriculum and say, hey, it's not just to study to make money. You come to school to add value to yourself, to live a better person, all the other things that we are not told. So is that a check for the education curriculum?
I think it is a check. Maybe they had planned maybe to have shift studying. And I think shift studying would work if you identify that maybe the student has he is a baba somewhere, and now we try to structure our curriculum not to water down his gains, maybe to encourage him in his business. If we identify, for example, during the lockdown, the schools were closed.
So you had to get another hustle.
So I had to get another hustle. In my other hustle, I went to a certain garage in Bwais. So I spent there almost 2 months, and I found there very many kids. And these kids had adopted to the garage side. And it was very hard to convince them that you need school. Why do I need English? Here in my welding materials, I don't do English. I don't use English. But they're forgetting that we are living in a global village. And I think this is a gap in our top management in the education sector that need to address this to these young people and to the parents still.
But this is an interesting conversation, because what then is lacking in the education sector? Because if it was practical, imagine someone went into COVID and they were studying engineering at school. Although they are in high school, they are having a few practicals. They are having maybe one solo kanike motoka. They can maybe they have other practical skills. You know, they can do welding. They can do all those things. Wouldn't it be, because it would be normal, you know, even if I'm not at school, I can weld. Even when I'm at school, I can weld. But you people, the teachers or the policymakers, have disassociated that too. Until when you come to school, it's purely theory. So now when someone goes to welding, then that is out of school. Don't you think we need to harmonize the two?
Yeah, I think in harmonizing that is when we fall back to the new curriculum that is becoming maybe a challenge to some schools. In my view, this would be a very good curriculum if it was implemented well. Because when you look at those practical aspects, for example, the welding side that I'm versed with, if it was in this new curriculum, it would be working, because we would not give you a theoretical part of welding, but we would bring welding to class. But it is still a challenge, because it is lacking funds. People are lacking knowledge. The teachers that have been given this curriculum to teach it, they were taught theoretically, and you're telling them to teach practically. So it is still also a challenge in the implementation.
So why wouldn't you get a Chibanda guy to come and teach Uganda? Nagamba okwata boti wano noyocha wano to make it things simpler.
Then when we come to that side, you know, there is a problem that we are limiting education to those people who have studied. When you even look at the Educations Act, it says someone to teach must have gotten maybe a training or a practice somewhere, and he is certified. So look at you bringing someone from the street simply because he has the knowledge,
practical knowledge,
and you are bringing him to our learners who are looking for a way out from school. So if you show them that,
a bad example.
So not a bad example, there would be a good example if the mindset has been oriented. Because some of us are in class, we are looking at, if I finish senior 4, I'm branching off. And now you are showing them alternative ways to branch off even before senior 4. If you identify that even a person who has not gone to school, who is in his garage, he can come and orient us. So maybe if I can also leave school alone and I go to that side.
But COVID has made you guys wake up with all these theories and mindsets. You have that, okay, someone who is from the street doesn't have the same mental capacity as a teacher or as an educationist. But COVID has taught you that these guys can actually run to these people. These people teach them for a couple of months and they make money. So COVID has evaluated you right there.
Yeah, so there are things that they call a necessary evil or a good bad. So COVID has been a good bad, but however effects it has left to us, but at least when you look at how it has shaken the whole system, at least it has identified certain, and it is looking at you introducing chemistry in senior 1, you don't introduce it in class, you introduce it in the laboratory.
Yes.
You telling about children. This is a curriculum where we are assuming that these learners have come from primary when they know everything we are going to teach them. However much biology was not in primary, but science was in primary.
Yes.
And we are looking at you putting pointers in the school, the library, the computer lab, the internet first.
Yes.
For these learners to go and research, we are cultivating the research culture in these learners.
So does government have this money?
Does government have that money? I think post-COVID, the government has spent a lot in these other areas, health, media, wherever, to sensitize the people about this COVID thing. And now we are opening schools, and we are lacking this. And then when it comes to the parents, still, our parents have been used to the government model where you just give your child development fee. If it is not development fee, it is lunch fee. And now they are telling you buy some things for your child. Make sure the child has a phone, which is still a problem now to use the phone. And they are still telling you make sure your child you facilitate them data-wise. After data-wise, you facilitate them when they are doing their research. This still goes back to the parent. Remember this parent, and now I'm now looking at a government student or a government pupil who is at a government first.
Yes, a public school.
So even the 50,000 for food has been a challenge, and now you are adding this. For example, in senior 1, weekly we present our works on a chart.
Yes.
Making sure that maybe in a week the child may use 8 to 10 charts, illustrating what they have found about, illustrating. And then when you come to these project works, if it is for example in English we have a topic called food. Here we are teaching them to use the vocabulary of food, but now we are teaching them how to cook, but in English.
Okay.
And the child will require the child to buy these
some practicals,
some food materials. Remember, we are looking at a global village. You shall not use matoke first. We may use matoke, but you need to buy the matoke.
Yes.
We may say we are going to make a burger. A burger is still a vocabulary. We are teaching your child a global language. So you need to buy this child maybe meat, or you need to contribute a certain money to help this child get these materials.
Yeah, Mr. Muhanguzi, on that point right there where the parents' input is required post-COVID, I want us to take a short break, but when we return, we just dive, because I want to understand how the parents have also been affected and how it gets back now to how the students have been affected after the break. Now, do not go away. You are still on the desk, and I'm telling you, it's getting heated up. The gentleman in the chair right here is an educationist, and for you who has a child, or you have children, or you're just interested to know about how the education sector is going post-COVID, and I'm talking public schools, you better sit back, relax. After the break, we dive deep. Do not go away. We're coming back. Boy, oh boy, I'm telling you, it is the desk, and as usual, it gets heated up in matters of intellectuality. Now tonight, we're trying to assess post-COVID, how are schools going, and we're talking public schools. Now for you who's been in private schools all your life, your children are going to private schools, you may not know what happens in public schools, but all these happen, and they are a reality. Now for you who is in a public school, you better sit back, relax, better lean forward. Also stand up, because we are going to be evaluating some of these things as we discuss with someone who, they did not just watch things on TV. They are in this situation, they handle kids every day, and they are telling us what they know. But you can follow this very lovely discussion on our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Do that for Shadrack Kisame. Now for you who has not liked my page on Facebook, I'm telling you, you're too late, because you miss out on all these updates and what the desk and Shadrack is all about. Now if you just want to know maybe what business is all about, brand positioning, maybe just to talk about business consulting, all you need to do is reach out to Shadrack Kisame or the desk on social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or the email is at kisameshadrack44@gmail.com, and we'll definitely be able to get back to you with your inquiries. Now, Mr. Muhanguzi, we are trying to find out, the parents have been good, but before we even get back to what you are saying, there's something that is mind-blowing. I think for the people who are watching also, they can bear witness. When children are in school, we did not have the numbers we had for early pregnancies, early marriages like we had. Well, they were with their parents. So does that mean you, the school owners, you, the teachers, you, the educationists, are playing a big role in preserving these children from such vices than their own parents? It's mind-boggling.
Picking up on that, you see, in our minds, we think the parent is the prime guardian of the child, and they are responsible for everything that happens to the child. And
isn't that the truth?
And whenever they are with the children, they are very safe. But I'm sorry to say, the COVID shaking has shown us that the children are very vulnerable at home more than at school. You would expect that since the lockdown had put us home, the parents are home, the children are home, the situation would be very strict on them. But it has not been the fact. Children have gotten very many problems at school, at home, sorry. Look at these homes that are not well. the schools that are, the homes that have already broken, but the parents are just keeping together simply because they are married, and the mother is like, I'm here for my children. So they have been to those homes. But when you look at the school, in the school, I think the children are more safe because we are tasked. We are always remembering that these parents have trusted us with these children. At school, it is not like at home where the parents wake up in the morning, they go to look for school fees. They have no time with their children. And the best time they get with their children is when the children want maybe scholastic materials.
But Sharif, this time they had them. They had the time. They didn't go anywhere. What happened?
But the parents were still psychologically affected. They were not with their children.
So they were just in the same place, but they worried with their children.
We were in the same place, but our minds were in other places. Look at, we are in a country where we are not physically together, but we are together. Look at the social medias. The children are with their other friends, chatting on the social medias. They are connected with their with their classmates more than with their parents.
The parents, yes.
So, and the problem we are getting is from the parents who are shy to their children. The parents are leaving the whole lot of upbringing a child to the school.
To the school, yes.
So, and even now they are all carrying their burden. I'm calling it a burden. Sorry, their children.
Yes.
To the school, they come tell you, you see teachers, you handle these children well. We have brought back your children. Your children are there.
So this is the comment.
He tells you, teacher so and so, I've brought back your child. He has been a problem at home, and now bringing him to you. You let me know.
Yes.
So from then, the parents don't come back to keep up with their children. And I think this we shall not blame the government for this. This one we shall blame the children, the parents, for not taking initiative. There is a saying that I believe in. If you don't tell your children well, someone will tell your children this information upside down. Look at this other, currently we have been looking at the sexual reproductive implementation in schools.
You just give me 5 million. That is so little for government. But 5 million times all the schools that, so we're going to have billions of taxpayers' money going out. That's what maybe sometimes we never get to understand. I'm just trying to think with an open mind. Because if your school was given, say, 5 million as a bailout to contribute to what you have lost, how many schools are in this country?
I think it is a good it is a good opener, but the government also has some other things to do. But we are having very many organizations that join the schools. For example, they would put this money in the private schools owners association, and this private schools owners association would look at this school, assess, because not all schools were affected. Some schools are okay.
How can we say that?
Some schools, these people, they know what is on the ground. They would know that this school is fine.
But how can we say that? But how can you say that? Because I don't know. You right now, one of the best schools we know right now, maybe say Kampala Parents or Green Hill Academy. If you go right now and talk to the administrators, they'll tell you, Shadrack, it has been bad. So they will cry like the same way you're crying.
Yeah, it has been bad, but we have different measures of bad. We have different measures of bad. So I'm getting there where you are taking me, but still, when you look at our returns in the schools, we are not equal.
Yeah, I agree.
And when you look at mostly the government schools have been okay because their teachers have been paid throughout the lockdown. But look at our private side. We have not been, the teachers have been depending on the school. It has been only the small handouts that the school management had given to these teachers, sending them off, and some, to the worst, some had even shifted to sleep in the classes as the lockdown had, because the landlords will not tell him that I'm a teacher somewhere.
They don't
I cannot pay you rent.
They don't
so
care.
We had to clean off some classes so that we bring some teachers who have been living outside to come and stay here.
It was that bad.
Now look at, it was that. Now look at you opening back again, and now I have to get this teacher housing somewhere. You know, when it comes to secondary schools, they are not burdened with the teacher, with their staffs, because I'm a part-time in your school. I come only 2 days. You don't need to house
accommodate me.
And now look at a primary school where your teacher, you need them from Monday to Friday. You can't let them sleep anywhere. And the first benefits of those teachers is housing. So the government is opening for you to rent for them school other houses. Remember, the parents have not paid yet.
You're not in the right financial position.
You are not in the financial position to rent for these people outside again. You had brought them to school, and now you need to also to prepare your school for these learners to come back. So that is the picture down there.
And some of them had even taken loans.
Some of them, and now some teachers, some school heads,
they are taking loans,
fighting loans, and they had to get another loan again, and
a loan to furnish a loan.
A loan to furnish a loan, and if it comes, and then there are certain statement that our government made that you sell off some buildings to pay the loan. Was that necessary? But
tough times
maybe require tough measures, but. Our government, maybe we cannot blame it. We cannot blame it because we have all faced the same problem. It was also not ready for this, and we were not also ready for this. But it called for uniformity in this. Look at our organization that join us, the UNATO. UNATO has been seated, quiet.
But what can they do? They don't have power.
They have power if they stand up and stand with the teacher who is being down. Currently, if we reach to the teacher's side, now we are looking at the school side. Look at the teacher who has now gone to the stage. He has got a loan, got a border. You're not going to get that teacher back to class. He has already gotten his.
But teachers so many.
Teachers are so many.
Is the country deficient of teachers?
The country is not deficient of teachers, but it becomes a challenge looking for a teacher when COVID has shown them you are not needed. It becomes a challenge.
Actually, at that point there, let me go for a short break, but when we come back, now we discuss the teachers. Are they in the right psychological mind to take back school, to take back our children? Are our children safe again? We discuss that after the break, but do not go away. You are still on the desk. I am telling you, matters of education, matters of schools, matters of teachers, students, you can never exhaust them, but they only get heated up on the desk, and this is what you always have to expect on the desk. We are highly informative, highly educative, and above all, we make sure that you get inspired to do something about these matters that we always discuss on this intellectual desk. Now more than ever, I'm still yours truly, Shadrack. But remember, we're still broadcasting here at Nile Avenue, Nakasero Hill. We're actually in the heart of Kampala at UBC headquarters, but you are on U24 television. Now we trust that every time you watch U24, you're inspired, you're motivated, above all, you are educated. Now, there are people who are wondering, how do we get you, Shadrack? How do we get you again? My email, kisameshadrack44@gmail.com, and also my social media platforms on Facebook. If you reach out on Facebook, trust me, immediately you send me a message, immediately you put a comment, we will definitely be able to get back to you. But also the show is live on YouTube. My YouTube is Shadrack Kisame. If you have not subscribed, make sure you rush to it, subscribe, and also click that notification bell. In case we put up something, you will be the first to know. Now we are still with Mr. Muhanguzi, and he's trying to explain to us. Now this is a man who has been in education. He knows everything that is going on, and that's why we're getting first-hand information from the horse's mouth itself. So we've come to the last 10 minutes of the show, and we're trying to find out, are our students safe with the mental state of you teachers right now? Because most of you are thinking, what next? Most of you are thinking, is it worth it to come back? Because mbadde nkubiyeko amatafali gange, ntuuzeko tanulu zange, mbadde njozezaako ku motoka, nfuna kagwirawo, mbadde nkaniseeko ku motoka, and mukyali awo, you're not sure whether this is true or this is real. Will this take me to the next level? Are our children safe?
Whose schools were not ready for this online, and you don't blame the schools, because when you look even at the higher institutions, online has not been applicable. Recently, Makerere is rioting because of teaching them online. The government, the schools and the government and the nation was not ready for this online participation. But if the government maybe prioritized us on this 100,000 that was a bailout, and even the food, if the government maybe showed the teachers that however much we are facing a crisis, but we think about you, you are our people.
Sharif, did you get the 100,000 Nabanja money? Did you get?
I registered, but in our village only one person got.
Story for another day, continue.
And that is it. So if maybe they put these things that would keep the teachers' spirit in line with their work, but they have left the teachers.
They've not incentivized them one bit.
They have not given the government teachers who are back. They are okay. For them, they have been getting these things. Now I'm talking at the perspective of a private teacher.
No, but private teachers mufuna sente nyingi, because think about it. Bano bafuna what? 400,000, 500,000. Private teachers sang omuntu ngafuna up to 2 million.
It is subjected to difference. What I told you, it is not all of us. That is why I tell you to go back to these to make these organizations functional, because they have the first-hand information. They know that school so and so pays this amount to their people, meaning that these people, they have a problem. We must help them. And
is that information public? Can maybe Shadrack, if I walk right now from here and I go to in a school in Kawempe, can I get that information?
It would be very hard to get that information, but through the ministry and through these organizations like the Teachers Association, the National Teachers Association would get this information, because you must display this information
to people, because with government schools it's easy. I just go to public service and I know what school in Wobulenzi the teachers earn how much, but with private schools it is. But
this information is always there. They always file it and submit it to the government. So meaning we know this, and if the government would use that information, maybe by now the teachers, we would not have a problem of the teachers being a problem. Now still, when we go back to the teachers, still their content has somehow gotten a problem. You cannot spend 2 years thinking about different things, and you need to come back to school to give the content in its right way.
So the teachers need to revise.
The teachers need to be taught again, and the government has not done that. And currently we are running a new curriculum. That I will not call it a new curriculum, because they are just abridging different topics. There is also this problem. Let me just hint it to the promotion of a child from one class to another. Automatic promotion.
It's automatic.
It has also been a problem. You cannot say a child who had been in middle, just entering middle, now is in P1, and P1 the parent expects the child in P1 to start the P1 work. They have skipped all the basics, and now you want them to get the P1 work. And now the government, what it has done, it has shifted certain topics from one class to the other. But remember, there are some people who have skipped 2 classes, meaning even if you shift P1 work to P2, someone who is in P3 will still miss P2 work. So it is still a challenge from in all places.
But okay, you are a big stakeholder. You are an educationist. What do you want government to do? Because when you say that, I feel like government is on a tight spot.
Government, since it is the hen that looks after, it must be on a spot. But we are trying to incorporate the NC.
Do you think, because of the different mechanics that have happened during this COVID and now post-COVID, do you think it might affect the quality of graduates that we get after this?
It has already affected us. The COVID situation has somehow has spread a negative impact to these children. And when you look at our government, still the implementation that is bringing now, look at the degree of 4 years on the teacher side. That one is also a discussion that is something wide. But the graduates now we are getting are thinking, maybe I chose a wrong course. Maybe I chose a wrong course, because we have all been home. So you are graduating in a certain degree, but you're not planning to be into it. Simply because the COVID situation has told you this degree you are doing is irrelevant. I think it goes back to the government now to reorient us, to go to these schools and make sure, look at the online situation. Very many people have been studying online, but they have been getting substandard content. One time I was looking at certain exams that people were doing online. how would you give me a paper for the whole 24 hours when I'm doing a paper and you expect me not to malpractice somewhere else?
Yeah.
So those are the exams that we have been doing. They give you a paper in the morning, you do it for the whole day, you submit that you are doing exams. Are those exams really? Or it is just a coursework, another coursework? So you cheat and you produce something that is substandard, and they think now we are producing graduates who are okay, but we are producing copying graduates.
I am telling you, this man here is so passionate about education, but it is a wrap. Thank you very much for coming to the show. We'll do this some other time, definitely, because we cannot exhaust this in the 30 minutes that we always have on the desk. I am telling you, some of these issues, you can only find them on the desk, where we actually analyze, digest, and also make sure that we deduce what could be a solution, because it's a solvency plan platform. And I'm telling you, we always find solutions to some of these predicaments that are, for us, intellectually, I mean, not by going to the street. And I don't go to the street, always watch the desk so we can battle out. Now, if you also want to battle, you can reach me out on Shadrack Kisame Facebook. Type, get there, get an appointment if you want to feature on the desk. For all those who want to feature on the desk, like what he did, all you need to do is reach out to us on our social media platforms or email shadrackisame44@gmail.com. So we can also have you here in your capacity and also discuss and tell the nation what it ought to hear. But from me and the entire U24 management, we would like to say good night, good luck, adios for God and my country, and may the good Lord bless this beautiful Uganda. Now until next week, same place, same time, and of course same host, good night, ciao.